The vastness of space seemed endless. The stars sparkled like diamonds, scattered across an infinite black sky. But within this dark expanse, something massive was moving. It was a fleet, an immense armada of colossal warships, each one equipped with cloaking technology that rendered them invisible to human eyes. The Galactic Empire had arrived. The Empire's fleet approached Earth with a quiet menace, their ships gliding soundlessly through space, like sharks circling their prey. At the helm of this fleet stood the Empire's commander, a towering figure with cold, calculating eyes. His face was a mask of arrogance. He stood in the control room of the lead ship, looking down at the tiny blue planet that seemed to shimmer so innocently from the viewports. "Look at that," the commander sneered, pointing towards Earth. "A primitive world, a race of monkeys struggling to survive. Pathetic." His voice echoed through the ship, filled with disdain. The members of his crew nodded in agreement. They had seen countless planets fall to the might of the Empire. And Earth seemed no different, insignificant, with no advanced technology or meaningful defense systems. The commander smirked as he pressed a button on his console, activating a holographic map of the solar system. Earth's location was marked in bright red, glowing with an eerie light. He zoomed in on the planet, studying it with an air of condescension. "Prepare the scouts," the commander ordered. "Send them down to Earth. Let's see what these humans are really made of. I'm sure it will be a waste of time, but let's humor them." As the warships hovered above Earth, invisible to the planet's radar, the Empire's robotic scouts were deployed. These advanced machines were equipped with sophisticated sensors, cloaking capabilities, and enough firepower to obliterate anything they encountered. They were sent to land on Earth, unnoticed, to begin their assessment of the human race. The Empire had no doubt that humanity would be easy to subjugate. Their technologies were outdated and crude, their defenses laughable. The commander wasn't worried. The Empire had conquered hundreds of planets with ease. Earth would be no different. One by one, the scouts began to land across the globe. They landed in remote forests, quiet cities, and vast open plains. Each scout surveyed the area with precision, analyzing every aspect of the human world they could find. They observed people going about their daily lives, unaware of the mechanical invaders lurking just beyond their vision. In one small town, a scout observed a family playing with their dog. The family laughed as the dog performed tricks, rolling over and fetching sticks. The scout recorded the data and transmitted it back to the Empire. The commander watched the feed with a sneer. "They actually waste their time with these creatures," he muttered, shaking his head. "The humans are so backward, they're entertaining themselves with animals." The scout continued to scan, noticing a group of children playing with a cat nearby. The children giggled as the cat chased a ball, completely unaware of the powerful robotic scout just yards away. The scout sent another report, mocking the behavior. "How quaint," the commander said. "Earth's greatest warriors are pets. We will be finished here before the day ends." As the Empire's robotic scouts continued their mission, the story on Earth was unfolding in a completely different way. In a hidden laboratory deep within a high-security research facility, Dr. Monroe, a brilliant Earth scientist, was working tirelessly with his team to study the strange behavior of animals on the planet. Dr. Monroe had always believed that there was something special about Earth's pets, but until now, no one had taken his theories seriously. He had spent years studying the genetics of Earth's animals, specifically their bond with humans. He had observed how these animals reacted to humans in ways that defied logic. They seemed to understand their owners on a deeper level than any animal on another planet. It was as if they had a unique intelligence, a hidden power that had yet to be unlocked. Dr. Monroe's team was ready to reveal their findings to the world, but they had no idea how soon their research would become critical. They had no idea that the Galactic Empire had already begun to evaluate Earth and its inhabitants. They certainly didn't realize that Earth's greatest strength, the one thing the Empire had completely overlooked, was about to show itself. The day the Empire's robotic scouts landed, Dr. Monroe's research team was preparing for an experiment. It wasn't anything that would stop the Empire's invasion, but it was groundbreaking work in animal intelligence. He had trained a group of animals, including a large dog, a quick cat, and a highly intelligent bird, to perform tasks that humans typically thought only they could do. These animals had been genetically modified, their instincts enhanced beyond what any natural creature could achieve. They were not just pets. They were highly skilled, intelligent, and ready to defend the humans they loved. And the Empire would soon find that out. As the scouts landed in various locations, they began to observe Earth's cities and towns. The Empire's robots were programmed to study the behaviors of humans and report back. They analyzed the pets in passing, thinking them to be nothing more than harmless, mindless creatures. But what the Empire didn't know was that the more they underestimated Earth's animals, the more they were walking into a trap of their own making. One scout, landing in a suburban neighborhood, took notice of a massive dog that was playing with a ball. The robot, using its advanced sensors, scanned the dog. It reported that the animal's muscle mass and reflexes were well beyond the capabilities of a normal dog. But the robot dismissed it as an anomaly, not realizing that the dog's enhanced abilities were far from a random accident. The scout moved on, never realizing how close it had come to danger. In another neighborhood, a cat had caught the attention of a scout. It was swift, darting between trees and across the yard with impressive agility. The scout, detecting its unusual speed, tried to follow the cat's movements, but the animal was too quick, leaping over obstacles with ease, its eyes glowing with an intelligence the scout couldn't comprehend. The scout's sensors began to glitch, reporting strange data that didn't make sense. The cat, fully aware of the danger, gave a soft growl and vanished into the trees, leaving the scout confused and frustrated. The scouts continued their mission, unaware that their observations were slowly revealing Earth's greatest secret. Its pets had evolved into something far beyond ordinary animals. They had developed a unique bond with humans, a bond that had allowed them to become much more than just companions. They were protectors, warriors, and the ultimate surprise for the Galactic Empire. Meanwhile, Dr. Monroe and his team had no idea what was unfolding across the globe. They were busy fine-tuning their experiments, preparing for the big reveal. But they knew, deep down, that their research on Earth's animals was about to change the world. And little did the Empire know, their attempt to conquer Earth was about to meet the most unexpected resistance imaginable. The Galactic Empire had underestimated the humans, and worse still, they had completely ignored the very thing that could defeat them, Earth's pets. The scouts, still cloaked and hidden, had no idea that they were being watched. And soon, they would discover that underestimating Earth's animals was their biggest mistake. The Galactic Scouts continued their mission across Earth, their robotic eyes observing, analyzing, and cataloging everything they saw. The Scouts, efficient and precise, landed in a small rural town where they hoped to find more evidence of humanity's weakness. They observed from a distance, their cloaking technology making them invisible to the humans below. The robots surveyed the area as the Earth's inhabitants went about their daily routines, unaware of the invisible invaders among them. The scouts noted the simplicity of the town. Old wooden houses, children playing outside, families tending gardens. But what caught their attention most were the animals that humans appeared to cherish. There were dogs, cats, and even small birds, all seen as nothing more than pets in the eyes of the Empire's scouts. The robotic invaders analyzed these creatures with detachment, convinced they were just animals, their usefulness to humans nothing more than companionship. "They have no true warriors," one scout reported back to the Empire, its voice devoid of emotion. "These humans waste their time on these creatures. Weaklings. They depend on pets for emotional support, not realizing how far beneath them these animals are. They're nothing more than playthings." The commander of the Empire, watching the scouts' reports, chuckled. "I knew it. These humans are pathetic, depending on pets for comfort. This will be easier than I thought." Prepare the attack. Earth will be ours before the day ends. Unbeknownst to the scouts, back at Earth's hidden research facility, Dr. Monroe and his team were hard at work. They had been studying the strange connection between humans and their pets, the bond that seemed to go far beyond simple companionship. Dr. Monroe had a theory, one that no one, not even the highest government officials, had taken seriously. He believed that the animals on Earth were not just pets. They were something more. Enhanced through years of subtle evolution, these animals had developed intelligence and instincts that far exceeded what humans could comprehend. "We need to keep pushing forward," Dr. Monroe said to his team. "The Empire's fleet is already close. If we're to have any chance of defending Earth, we need to understand what these animals can do. We've only scratched the surface." The team nodded, their eyes filled with determination, but they had no idea that time was running out. They didn't know that the Empire was already enacting its plan, that the scouts were about to strike. They were focused on their research, unaware that the pets they were studying were about to prove Dr. Monroe's theory right. In the rural town, as the scouts continued their silent observation, something unusual began to happen. A seemingly ordinary family was going about their day. The father, Mark, was in the front yard playing fetch with his large dog, Rex. The dog was a massive animal, its fur thick and its eyes bright with intelligence. A few feet away, Mark's daughter, Emma, was sitting on the porch, tossing a ball to her cat, Whiskers, who nimbly darted after it, leaping over obstacles with incredible agility. Nearby, the family bird, Charlie, fluttered around, occasionally landing on Mark's shoulder or perching on the roof, keeping a watchful eye on the scene. To any normal observer, this scene would appear completely ordinary. A happy family enjoying their time together, with their pets providing simple companionship. But the scouts, analyzing every movement, were not seeing what was truly happening. They saw only pets, nothing more. But what the Empire's machines didn't know was that these pets were far more than just playmates. They had evolved, unknowingly enhanced by humanity's bond, and now they were prepared to defend their loved ones when the time came. Suddenly, the peaceful atmosphere was broken. The scouts, still cloaked and hidden, had silently descended upon the family's property, unaware that their presence was being detected. Rex, the large dog, was the first to notice something was wrong. His ears perked up as he sniffed the air, his body tensing. Without warning, the dog let out a low growl, the hair on the back of his neck standing on end. Mark, distracted by the ball he was holding, barely heard him. "Rex," Mark said, confused, looking down at the dog. But Rex didn't calm down. Instead, he barked loudly and dashed toward the trees at the edge of the yard. His sudden movement startled Mark, but he had no idea what was causing the dog's distress. At the same time, Whiskers, the cat, stopped mid-pounce and looked up, her bright eyes narrowing. Her instincts, sharpened by unknown forces, told her something was coming, something dangerous. She didn't hesitate. With a quick flick of her tail, she sprinted toward the back of the house, leaping over obstacles with effortless grace. Then there was Charlie. The bird, perched high above, tilted its head and watched the horizon. His sharp eyes caught the faintest movement, a shimmer in the air that no human could see. His feathers ruffled, and he took off, flying toward the trees where Rex had run, squawking loudly to warn his family. But it wasn't just a warning. Charlie's flight was calculated, purposeful, as if he knew exactly where to go and what to do. It was at that moment that the Empire's scouts made their move. The first scout, a drone, descended silently behind Mark, ready to strike. Its advanced weapons were primed, and it moved toward the family with the intent to neutralize them. But Rex wasn't having it. With lightning speed, the dog lunged at the scout's drone, knocking it out of the air with a powerful swipe of his paw. The drone sputtered and crashed to the ground, sparks flying as it malfunctioned. The scouts, still cloaked and unsure of what was happening, tried to regroup, but Whiskers, the cat, was already in action. She darted from her hiding place, her eyes glowing with an intelligence the scouts had never seen in any animal. In a blur, she swiped at one of the scout's sensors, disabling it in one swift motion. The scout staggered backward, confused and disoriented. Meanwhile, Charlie, the bird, flew overhead, creating a distraction by diving and swooping in erratically, confusing the scouts even further. The robotic invaders couldn't track the fast-moving bird, whose flight pattern seemed almost strategic. Charlie squawked loudly, signaling his teammates to take action. The scouts were caught off guard. They had never expected resistance from Earth's animals. What they thought were simple pets had become fierce protectors, using their enhanced abilities to strike back against the invaders. The scouts, unable to comprehend what was happening, faltered in their mission. They had underestimated Earth's strength in the worst possible way. Rex, Whiskers, and Charlie had just begun their defense, but the scouts were already on the back foot. They hadn't realized that the animals they had dismissed as weak were far more advanced than any of them had imagined. The Galactic Empire had made its first fatal mistake. It had underestimated the true strength of Earth, its pets. And now, the invasion was about to take a dangerous turn for the Empire. The Galactic Empire had never been challenged in such a way. The scouts' reports had painted Earth as a weak, defenseless planet, ripe for conquest. But something strange had happened that no one had anticipated. The Empire's initial dismissal of Earth's pets as nothing more than playthings was proving to be a grave mistake. The events that had unfolded with Rex, Whiskers, and Charlie were far from a fluke. The Empire's warships, vast and powerful, had underestimated the true nature of these creatures, and now the commander was beginning to take notice. Back aboard the Empire's flagship, the commander was pacing angrily, the reports from the scouts flickering across the holographic display. "This cannot be happening," he muttered to himself. "These are just pets. There's no way they could have fought back like this." Despite the overwhelming evidence that the pets were more than ordinary animals, the commander refused to believe it. He could not fathom that a species as advanced as the Galactic Empire could be thwarted by creatures that humans considered little more than companions. "It must be some sort of fluke," he grumbled, dismissing the reports with a wave of his hand. But even as he did, he noticed something that unsettled him. The scouts' accounts didn't match up. The pets were not acting randomly. It was as if they were working together, responding to some kind of unspoken command. This wasn't the behavior of ordinary animals. The commander, unwilling to admit weakness, ignored the signs and gave the order to continue with the invasion. But the Empire's obsession with Earth's pets only grew as they continued to see strange behavior from these creatures. They seemed to be everywhere, popping up in places where the Empire's scouts least expected them. The animals were performing complex actions with precision, acts that shouldn't have been possible for mere pets. These creatures were starting to look like something far more dangerous. The commander's irritation boiled over. "We cannot let these pests stop us," he declared. "Send a larger force to Earth. Drones, robots, anything. We need to capture one of these super-powered pets and bring it back for study." The plan was set in motion. A fleet of drones and robots was dispatched to Earth with one mission: capture one of the super-powered pets and bring it back to the Empire for examination. The drones made their way toward Earth's surface, focusing on Dr. Monroe's laboratory, where the research on Earth's animals was being conducted. The Empire believed that if they could study the pet's abilities, they would understand what was happening and be able to use it to their advantage. But the Empire had severely underestimated Dr. Monroe and his team, as well as the strength of Earth's bond with its pets. As the drones descended upon the lab, the alarms blared, warning Dr. Monroe and his team of the incoming attack. They rushed to their stations, preparing to defend themselves. The lab, with its complex technology and sensitive research, was vulnerable. But Dr. Monroe wasn't worried. He had seen what these pets could do, and he knew they would protect him. "Get ready," he shouted to his team. "They'll be here soon. We need to hold them off until we can get the data out. Just as the drones began to land outside, a deep growl echoed from the back of the lab. Rex, the massive dog, stood at the entrance, his body tense, ready for action. His eyes locked onto the drones descending from the sky, and without a second thought, he charged. His powerful muscles propelled him forward, leaping through the air with agility that no one would have expected from a creature his size. With a single, mighty swipe, he knocked one of the drones out of the sky, sending it crashing to the ground in a cloud of sparks and smoke. Inside, Whiskers the cat was already on alert. She was quick and nimble, able to sense even the smallest shift in the air. As the drones descended, she darted across the lab at lightning speed, swiping at the legs of another drone, causing it to malfunction and crash to the ground. The cat's movements were precise, like a trained warrior, far beyond what anyone could have predicted from a pet. And then there was Charlie, the bird, who had a bird's-eye view of the entire battlefield. From his perch high above, he saw the incoming drones and quickly devised a plan. With a screech, he flew toward one of the drones, his small body cutting through the air like a missile. He dove straight toward the drone, distracting it long enough for Rex to deliver another devastating blow. The bird's speed and agility kept the drones off balance, creating chaos in their ranks. The Empire's attack was quickly falling apart. Every time they thought they had a drone in their sights, the pets would throw them off course. The robotic army was no match for the animals' unexpected tactics. The drones were clearly struggling to adapt to this unanticipated form of resistance. They had been designed to fight humans, not animals with such advanced instincts. Dr. Monroe and his team watched in amazement as the pets continued to fight. They had no idea how the animals knew exactly what to do, but they didn't have time to ask questions. The Empire was not giving up, and the battle was escalating rapidly. "Keep fighting," Dr. Monroe shouted as he grabbed a weapon to protect his team. "We can't let them take us." Outside, the battle was growing fiercer. The drones were now accompanied by larger robotic soldiers, their heavy footsteps shaking the ground as they advanced toward the lab. But Rex, Whiskers, and Charlie weren't backing down. They'd fought side by side, each creature using their unique abilities to protect their humans. The fight between the robotic soldiers and the pets had become a battle of wits, with the pets anticipating every move the Empire made. Rex used his powerful bite to take down a giant robot's leg, while Whiskers darted between the legs of another, evading capture with ease. Charlie swooped in and out of the fray, creating confusion with his aerial attacks. The Galactic Empire's forces, though vast and technologically superior, were being outmaneuvered by the pets' teamwork and instincts. Each time the Empire attempted to regroup, the pets thwarted their efforts in unexpected ways, leaving the Empire's soldiers frustrated and confused. Inside the lab, the situation was becoming dire. The Empire's forces were relentless, but the pets weren't giving up. Dr. Monroe knew that the pets had only one real chance to win. If they could destroy the Empire's control center, they could disrupt the drones and robots, rendering them useless. But it was going to be a difficult task. "We need to end this now," Dr. Monroe shouted. "We have to reach the control center." With no time to waste, the pets led the charge. Rex, Whiskers, and Charlie fought side by side, their bond with humanity stronger than ever. The Empire had made a grave mistake. It had underestimated not only Earth's pets, but also the unbreakable bond between humans and the creatures they loved. As the battle raged on, the Galactic Empire found itself facing an enemy it had never imagined. An enemy with no regard for rules, no understanding of fear, and a loyalty that transcended species. The pets had proven that even the greatest empires in the galaxy could fall to the unexpected power of Earth's simplest creatures. The battle for Earth had reached a turning point. Dr. Monroe and his team, still struggling to comprehend the full extent of the events unfolding around them, were now faced with a shocking discovery. The pets they had once regarded as nothing more than loyal companions were far more than they seemed. They weren't simply animals with heightened instincts and abilities. They were the product of ancient technology hidden on Earth for thousands of years. For millennia, Earth had been home to secrets buried beneath its surface, artifacts and technologies left behind by civilizations long gone. It was only now, as the Galactic Empire launched its full-scale invasion, that these secrets were coming to light. Dr. Monroe and his team had uncovered something incredible. The pets had been genetically altered through forgotten technologies, granting them extraordinary abilities. It was as if these animals had been bred for this moment, their powers lying dormant until now. Rex, the massive dog with the strength of 10 men, was more than just a guardian. He was a living weapon. Whiskers, the agile cat with the sharpness of a predator, possessed intelligence and reflexes that could rival the most advanced combat systems. And Charlie, the bird who had outwitted the Empire's drones, was a perfect example of how these animals had evolved to become Earth's hidden weapons. These pets were no longer just loyal companions. They were humanity's secret defense against the Empire's tyranny. Dr. Monroe gathered his team together. The gravity of the situation was becoming clearer by the minute. "These pets aren't just fighting to protect us," he said, his voice filled with awe. "They've been designed for something far greater. We need to make sure the Empire doesn't learn what we've discovered." As the team prepared for the next stage of the battle, the full-scale invasion from the Galactic Empire was about to begin. The Empire, confident that their massive fleet of warships, drones, and robotic soldiers would crush any resistance, had already begun its assault on Earth. From space, their ships rained down destruction, intent on erasing the planet and its inhabitants from existence. The commander of the Empire stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking down at Earth with a sense of superiority. "This will be quick," he muttered. "Their technology is nothing compared to ours. Prepare for orbital bombardment. We will wipe them out in one strike." As the massive warships in orbit began their bombardment, huge explosions erupted across Earth's cities. Buildings crumbled to the ground as the Empire's advanced weapons rained down from above. The human forces, already struggling to defend their planet, were no match for the overwhelming power of the Empire's warships. But the Empire had underestimated something crucial: the bond between humans and their pets. As the chaos unfolded, Rex, Whiskers, and Charlie, along with countless other pets across the planet, began to sense the impending threat. They weren't just reacting out of instinct. They understood the gravity of the situation. These animals had evolved with abilities far beyond their physical form, and now they were ready to fight back. Rex was the first to move. He sprinted through the streets of the city, his muscles rippling beneath his fur as he raced toward a group of Empire drones. The Empire's forces, which had been so confident in their victory, were completely unprepared for the sheer ferocity with which Earth's pets attacked. Rex leaped at the drones, knocking them out of the sky with ease. His enhanced strength and speed made him an unstoppable force, tearing through the Empire's machines like they were made of paper. Meanwhile, Whiskers was darting through alleyways, her small body moving with incredible speed. Her reflexes were sharp, and she used the terrain to her advantage, slipping between buildings and under vehicles, evading capture while picking off Empire drones one by one. Her agility and intellect made her a perfect assassin, taking down enemy forces with precision and ease. Charlie, high above in the skies, swooped down on the attacking drones, his wings cutting through the air like blades. He had become a master of distraction, drawing the Empire's attention away from the real threats as he dove and weaved, his sharp beak taking out drones and causing them to crash to the ground in flames. But it wasn't just the pets fighting alone. Human soldiers, rallying behind their pets, fought alongside them in the streets. Dr. Monroe's team, armed with the knowledge of the ancient technology that had transformed the pets, used the city's terrain to mount a defense against the Empire's overwhelming firepower. Humans and pets worked together in perfect harmony, moving as one to repel the invaders. In close-quarters combat, the humans and their pets fought side by side, their unity stronger than anything the Empire had encountered. The humans, though outnumbered and outgunned, demonstrated an unyielding determination to protect their world. The pets, having evolved beyond their original purpose, had become more than just animals. They were symbols of humanity's strength, loyalty, and unbreakable will to survive. The Empire's forces, caught off guard by the ferocity of the resistance, began to fall back. The drones, once confident in their superiority, were being torn apart by the pets. The robotic soldiers, designed to fight with ruthless efficiency, were being outmaneuvered at every turn. The Empire had never seen anything like this before. Earth's simple pets were proving to be far more powerful than the most advanced combat units in the galaxy. And it wasn't just the pets who were fighting back. The humans had rallied together, using their knowledge of the city and the advanced technology at their disposal to launch a counterattack. Human soldiers, working with their pets, launched a series of strategic strikes, hitting the Empire's forces from all sides. The Galactic Empire's warships were taking hits from the ground, and their once unshakable confidence was beginning to crumble. Orbital bombardment continued from the Empire's warships, but the humans and pets fought back fiercely, using the city's structures for cover and coordinating their attacks. The Empire's attempts to wipe out Earth's defenses were thwarted at every turn, as the pets and humans worked together to turn the tide of battle in their favor. The commander, watching from the safety of his flagship, was beginning to realize that Earth was not as weak as he had thought. His forces, once unstoppable, were now being pushed back by an alliance between humans and their pets, an alliance he had never considered. Frustrated, the commander ordered a retreat. "Pull back," he shouted, his voice filled with disbelief. "We cannot continue the attack. Earth's defenses are stronger than we anticipated. Begin the withdrawal immediately." But even as the Empire's forces retreated, they took heavy losses. The once proud fleet of warships had been battered and broken by the unexpected resistance of Earth's hidden weapon, its pets. The Empire had been forced to admit that they had underestimated humanity, and they had paid the price for it. As the dust settled and the battle came to an end, Earth stood victorious. The Galactic Empire had retreated, leaving behind a trail of destruction. But Earth, though battered, was far from defeated. Humanity had proven that even in the face of overwhelming odds, they were not to be underestimated. The bond between humans and their pets had been the key to their survival. What the Empire had seen as weakness, emotional attachments to animals, had turned out to be Earth's greatest strength. The pets, genetically altered by ancient technology, had become humanity's hidden weapon. And together, they had driven the Empire from their world. The battle was over, but the war was far from finished. Earth had won this fight, but the Empire would return. And when they did, they would find that humanity, with its unbreakable bond to its pets, would be ready to face them again. The battle for Earth had escalated to its most intense and dangerous point. The Galactic Empire, having suffered defeat after defeat at the hands of Earth's unexpected allies, its pets had finally resorted to their most advanced technology. Desperate to crush the human resistance and reassert their dominance, the Empire deployed their secret weapon, AI-driven warships that could cloak themselves, rendering them nearly invisible to Earth's defenses. These warships were capable of launching devastating attacks with pinpoint precision, and the Empire believed that this would be the final blow to Earth's defense. As the Empire's fleet appeared in the skies above Earth, shrouded in invisibility, it was clear that they were taking no chances. They had learned from their previous failures, and now they were relying on the full might of their technological superiority. The warships, sleek and deadly, hovered above the planet, cloaked in a field that made them nearly impossible to detect. Their weapons, capable of incinerating entire cities with a single blast, were ready to launch at any moment. On the ground, Dr. Monroe and his team were frantically preparing for the final confrontation. The research they had conducted on Earth's pets had uncovered more than they ever could have imagined. They had discovered that the ancient technology embedded in the pets had not only enhanced their physical abilities, but had also given them a heightened sense of awareness and intelligence. Now, working together with their human companions, the pets were more than ready for the battle ahead. Rex, Whiskers, Charlie, and the other animals had evolved beyond their original roles as pets. They were soldiers now, battle-hardened and capable of feats that no one had ever thought possible. Dr. Monroe had even managed to hack into some of the Empire's drones, stealing valuable technology that would help them fight back against the Empire's advanced weapons. One of the most important discoveries was how to disable the cloaking devices on the Empire's warships. It was their last hope of winning this fight. With the battle looming, Earth's forces and their pets prepared to launch their final counterattack. Humans and animals worked in unison, their bond stronger than ever before. The strategy was set. The pets would coordinate the attack, using their instincts to guide their movements, while the humans would provide the firepower and tactical expertise needed to bring down the Empire's warships. The time for hesitation had passed. This was the moment that would determine the fate of Earth. The first strike came from Charlie, the bird who had once again proven his worth in the skies. As the cloaked warships hovered overhead, he flew high into the air, his keen eyes scanning for any sign of movement. Using his speed and agility, Charlie darted through the sky, evading the Empire's radar. At the perfect moment, he swooped down and released a series of small devices that had been adapted from the Empire's own technology. These devices latched onto the cloaking fields of the warships, emitting a signal that interfered with the cloaking technology and caused it to flicker. For the first time in weeks, the Empire's ships were visible to Earth's forces. The humans and pets wasted no time. As the warships became visible, the humans launched a full-scale assault, their weapons and technology working in harmony with the pets' extraordinary abilities. Rex, with his massive strength, charged at the nearest warship, leaping onto its hull with the power of a force of nature. His enhanced limbs tore into the ship, disabling its weapon systems and creating an opening for the humans to strike. Whiskers, the agile cat, darted between the warships, her reflexes allowing her to avoid enemy fire while taking out key components of the ships with deadly precision. Her claws, sharper than any human-made weapon, sliced through the ship's outer layers, rendering them useless. Meanwhile, Rex and the other animals coordinated their attacks, each one knowing exactly where to strike, their bond with their humans allowing them to fight as one. But as the battle raged on, the emotional stakes became even higher. Dr. Monroe, who had spent years studying and protecting these animals, found himself facing the loss of a close companion. Rex, the dog who had been with him through thick and thin, had always been his most loyal friend. But in the heat of battle, Rex saw an incoming strike from one of the Empire's warships, a direct hit that would have destroyed Dr. Monroe and the rest of his team. Without hesitation, Rex leaped in front of his human, shielding him from the blast with his own body. The explosion was deafening, and for a moment, everything went silent. Dr. Monroe's heart stopped as he looked down at his beloved pet. Rex, the brave dog who had fought by his side through every battle, had given his life to save him. Tears welled up in Dr. Monroe's eyes as he knelt beside Rex's lifeless body. "No, no, not you," he whispered, his voice choking with grief. Rex had been more than a pet. He had been a part of his family, his partner in every way. In that moment of loss, something stirred deep within Dr. Monroe's heart. The bond between humans and pets was not just a matter of companionship. It was something far more powerful, something that even the most advanced technology could not understand or destroy. The love and loyalty the humans and their pets shared was a force that could not be measured by any weapon or calculation. And now, as Rex's sacrifice hung heavy in the air, it was clear that this bond would be the key to Earth's ultimate victory. The pets, sensing their humans' grief and pain, fought with even greater determination. They knew that Rex's sacrifice would not be in vain. They fought not only for Earth, but for the memory of their fallen comrade. The final blow came when Dr. Monroe, fueled by a mixture of sorrow and rage, led the charge alongside his team, using the stolen technology to disable the last of the Empire's warships. With a decisive strike, the cloaking devices on the final warship flickered and went dark. The ship was exposed, vulnerable to Earth's counterattack. With a roar of triumph, Rex's fellow pets, along with the human soldiers, launched their final assault. The last of the Empire's warships crumbled under the weight of their attack. Explosions rocked the skies as the once mighty fleet was torn apart by Earth's fury. The Galactic Empire had been defeated, their forces scattered and broken. The impossible had happened. Earth had won. But as the dust settled and the last of the warships fell to the ground, the humans and their pets stood victorious. But not without a heavy heart. Dr. Monroe, his grief still raw, looked at Rex's lifeless form one last time. "You did it, old friend," he whispered. "We did it together." The Galactic Empire had been defeated, but the cost had been great. Earth had won, but it had also lost something precious in the process. Yet in that loss, a powerful truth had been revealed. The bond between humans and their pets was a force greater than any army, greater than any warship, greater than any weapon the Empire could throw at them. The Galactic Empire had underestimated humanity, and it had paid the price. The Galactic Empire, once a formidable force that spanned across the stars, was forced to retreat from Earth in utter defeat. Their once invincible warships were now nothing more than smoldering wreckage scattered across the surface of the planet. The Empire's arrogant belief that they could crush humanity was shattered in the wake of the unimaginable power of the bond between humans and their pets. They had underestimated Earth in ways they could not have possibly predicted. The victory was not just a military one, but a victory of unity, of love, and of something far more powerful than technology, an unbreakable bond that had been forged over millennia. As the Empire's ships withdrew into the farthest corners of the galaxy, Earth's people began the long process of rebuilding. Cities that had once been ravaged by the war were now bustling with life and activity. The once silent skies, which had been filled with the ominous hum of alien warships, were now calm and peaceful again. It was a time of reflection, a time to mourn the loss of those who had fallen, and a time to honor the heroes who had fought with everything they had. But perhaps the most extraordinary thing to come out of this war was the recognition of Earth's true heroes, the pets. They had been with humanity through the darkest of times, and now they were finally acknowledged for their incredible bravery and strength. No longer were they seen as simple companions or pets. They were warriors in their own right. The animals who had once been loyal and loving now stood alongside humans as equals, their abilities not just a part of who they were, but a testament to their resilience and courage. The pets had fought with the humans in every battle, and in the end, they had been the ones to deliver the final blow to the Empire's warships. Dr. Monroe, standing before a memorial dedicated to both the fallen human soldiers and their pets, felt a deep sense of gratitude. It was not just for the victory, but for the connection that had been made between humans and animals, between species that had once been separate but were now inseparable. He thought of Rex, the loyal dog who had sacrificed himself to save him. Though Rex was gone, his spirit lived on in the hearts of everyone who had witnessed his bravery. The memorial was filled with people, soldiers, scientists, families, and pets, gathering to honor those who had given their lives for the survival of Earth. The pets, who had once been overlooked, now stood proudly beside their human companions. Their bodies were marked with battle scars, their eyes gleaming with a quiet understanding that they had achieved something greater than anyone had expected. In the final scene, Dr. Monroe stood next to Rex's statue, a life-size replica that was part of the memorial. The dog's image, frozen in a heroic pose, seemed to reflect the love and loyalty that had been the driving force behind Earth's victory. Dr. Monroe placed a hand on the statue, his eyes filled with unused tears. "You were more than just a pet, Rex," he whispered. "You were a true hero." Around him, the other pets and their human companions shared in this moment of remembrance. Whiskers, the cat who had once been an unlikely warrior, sat quietly at the feet of her human, while Charlie the bird perched on a nearby branch, watching the scene unfold with quiet dignity. Each of them had a story to tell, a story of how they had risen to the occasion and fought not just for survival, but for their families, their humans, and for Earth itself. The scene was a testament to the extraordinary bond that had been formed during the war. It was a bond that had not only been tested in the heat of battle, but had proven to be humanity's greatest weapon. No weapon, no warship, no AI-driven war machine could compare to the strength of love, loyalty, and the unspoken understanding between humans and their pets. The Empire had thought themselves invincible, but they had learned the hard way that there was nothing stronger than the connection between a human and their companion. As the days passed, Earth continued to rebuild, but the legacy of the war lived on in every corner of the world. New technologies were developed, many inspired by the alien technology that had been captured during the war, but none were as important as the lessons humanity had learned. The people of Earth no longer took their pets for granted. They no longer saw them as mere animals. They saw them as equals, as warriors, as family. The bond between humans and their pets had been solidified in the fires of war, and it would never be broken again. The Galactic Empire, humbled by their defeat, knew that Earth had earned its place among the stars. They had failed to destroy humanity. They had underestimated Earth's strength, its resourcefulness, and its ability to overcome even the most impossible odds. The Empire had been built on technology, on artificial intelligence, and on a belief in their own superiority. But in the end, it was the most human of qualities, love and loyalty, that had been their undoing. As Earth's leaders looked to the future, they knew that the universe would never be the same. The war had shown them that no matter how advanced a civilization became, it was the bonds between individuals that held the true power. Earth, with its humble beginnings and its powerful hearts, had proven that it could stand shoulder to shoulder with the greatest forces in the galaxy. The final message of this war, of this story, was clear. It was not technology that made a civilization strong. It was the strength of its people, the love they shared, and the unbreakable bonds that held them together. And it was the pets, those once quiet companions, who had shown humanity just how powerful that bond could be. In the end, the Galactic Empire was no longer a threat. Their defeat marked the beginning of a new era for Earth, one where unity, compassion, and love would guide humanity as they looked toward the stars. And no matter what challenges lay ahead, Earth's people knew that they would never face them alone. They had their pets, their companions, their allies, those who had stood by them in their darkest hour, and who would continue to stand with them in the years to come. The bond between humans and their pets had changed the course of history, and now, with the Empire's downfall, the legacy of that bond would echo through the stars, reminding everyone that no empire, no matter how mighty, could ever stand against the power of love.